Hi, Mary. How are you?
I'm fine, and yourself?
I'm doing great. I don't know if you're familiar with our website, but soulmusic.com does a lot of features on what we consider to be authentic and talented R&B and soul music artists. And a guy by the name of Quentin had told my editor about a performance that the S.O.S band will be doing in London in March. So
Right.
we thought it would be a good chance to fill our readers in on what you've been up to and a little bit on the history of the band. So it's an honor to speak with you. I've enjoyed so many of the songs that the band has done over the years, as well as some of your solo work that you put out. Can you tell me how you got started with the band and how it was originally formed?
Yes,
Okay.
The band was formed in '79. Well, we stayed in we. It's a club here. There was a club here called the Regal Room, and it was on the Strip in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
And you had like 4 different clubs on that street.
Okay.
And the Regal Room was one of the ones that had live entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
So the manager of the club, they had a lot. You know, he would hire bands to come in and stay for like 2 months at a time, and if they were good, then it would stay longer.
Mm-hmm.
So we start. There was an amateur. They used to have an amateur hour on Saturday. So I went to, because I just left New York. I lived in New York for a while, and I just got tired of the rat race. So
Yeah, I understand that. I've been there too.
Yeah, I wanted to move south, so I did. And I went to the club to try to find some work to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I did the audition at the amateur hour, and then the manager of the club liked what he heard. And in the meantime, Jason Bryant, who's our keyboard player at the time, he had just came in from Japan.
Ah.
So he was looking for some place to work also. So the manager knew Jason because he had played there before.
Uh-huh.
But I was new in town. So after he heard me, he said, "Well, hey, Jason, why don't you and Mary get together and form a band, get some more musicians, form a band, and I'll sure enough hire you."
Wow.
So that's what we did.
Oh, awesome. So what was the time frame over which this happened? Was it like a year span or like within a matter of weeks or months?
Oh,
or...
no, that was in the matter of 1 to 2 weeks, because we did, we had to, the club was, we didn't have any originals at the time.
Uh-huh.
So we had to go in the woodshed and learn all the top 10, 40 songs at that particular time.
Oh, wow, okay.
And it took us about a week, because it was 2 shows a night. And that was like 8 to 9 songs, per night.
Right.
And per set, rather. So we stayed in James Earl Jones, who was the drummer at that particular time. He had an uncle that had a basement. So we went and started rehearsing in his basement, and we got real tight.
Yeah. So you literally were in a woodshed. It wasn't like the name of a place or anything.
Right.
Now, and the place that you did the amateur hour at, you said it was called the Rio Room or the Real Room?
Regal.
Like the Regal Room. Okay.
Regal, uh-huh.
And you said you had migrated from New York. Were you from New York originally, or had you just tried your luck there for a while?
That's what I did. I moved from Savannah. I'm originally from Savannah, Georgia.
Okay.
And after I got out of high school, then I went to New York to, like you say, to see if I can get into anything.
Yeah. I don't know if you're familiar with Millie Scott. She's an R&B singer that's from Savannah, and I spoke with her recently. And it's funny that I'm just speaking to the two of you.
Mildred? You said Mildred?
Yeah, Millie Scott. Are you familiar with her?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, check.
Your first name is, I don't know her married name. Her maiden name was Mildred Vaney.
Yes, that's her. That's her.
Where is Mildred?
Yes, she's from Savannah. I just talked to her a couple weeks ago. Matter of fact, we have the feature on the site right now, and I talked to her about her whole history of growing up in Savannah doing gospel, and then how she moved to New York with a girl group she was in called the Glories, and then she ended up in Detroit, where she's been for a long time now. And Yeah, so because I don't talk to many people from Savannah, so you know.
Yeah, that, I mean, you would remember.
So
Milton and I used to sing together in the gospel group. At that time, there was a sermonette. It was called the Sermonette Gospel Singers.
Oh,
so this is a small world.
I know. I was thinking maybe you would know who she was, but I wouldn't have thought that you knew her. That's too cool. So you guys got a regular gig. I'm sorry, I forgot.
At the club, yes, at the Regal Room.
The Regal Room.
And we started working on the weekend, which was Friday and Saturday night.
Okay.
And we got so tight, and we were so good that the manager, not the manager, the owner of the club hired us for like 5 nights straight. And the club was packed every night. And then he had, on Saturdays, we had like an amateur hour. He still did that because, all the musicians that were in town, they would come by because that was the spot for live entertainment.
Right.
So we stayed in that club for a good, almost a year and a half almost.
And what were you called at that point?
At that particular time, we were called Santa Monica.
Okay, so that is true that you called yourself that because of having played a gig in Santa Monica that went really well?
No.
Okay, that's what I read.
The keyboard player, that was Jason, the one I told you about that just came from Japan.
Right.
He lived in L.A. for a minute.
Okay.
And he lived in Santa Monica.
Okay.
So he decided to name the band at Santa Monica at that time.
It was a catchy kind of name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there was nobody in town, using that name or whatever.
Right.
So we just started calling ourselves Santa Monica.
Now, how long was it before you got the deal with Taboo, and how did that all come about?
Okay, now I said we stayed in that club for almost from 1 to 3 years. I'm not sure exactly because it's been a long time.
Yeah.
and Bunny Ransom, who is the ex-wife of the mayor, he was a mayor at the mayor of Atlanta at that particular time.
Uh-huh.
He knew Clarence Avant, who was the president of Taboo Records.
Right.
And he was looking for groups to sign up at that particular time. So the horn player, which is Billy Ellis,
mm-hmm.
he knew Bunny for some, at that time. So she came by and listened to us and heard us. So she said, "Oh, y'all good, So why don't y'all go in the studio, do a demo, and let me have it, and I'll send it to Clarence because she knew that Clarence was looking for musicians to sign on his label." So we did that, and she sent the material to Clarence, and Clarence liked what he heard. So then at that time, Sagidi Abdul, who wrote "Take the Time,"
right?
He knew Clarence, so Clarence sent Sagidi down to Atlanta to work with us, and that's how "Take Your Time" came about.
Wow! So that was a pretty quick process then, as far as from the time you submitted the demo and the time that you actually started working with Sagidi.
Yes.
Cool.
Because we were ready.
Yeah. Well, you were. Yeah.
We were ready. Being in that club, 6 nights a week.
I'm telling you. Yeah.
Every night, it was. We were tight. We were really tight.
So what? Well, obviously, "Take Your Time" ended up being huge, going to the top of the R&B and number 3 pop, and I think it sold like close to 2 million copies or something like that. So that was a big bang the first time out. What did it just take off really fast, or was it something that was gradual?
No, it took off like real fast.
Yeah.
No one was expecting it. But the thing that made that we were blessed about, like I said, is because of the fact that we were playing every night. So like I said, we were really tight and we was ready. But another thing that happened is we didn't have any instrument at that particular time. When "Take Your Time" hit so hard, we didn't have any instrument, so we wind up. I don't know if you heard of a group called Brick.
Yeah, Brick from Atlanta, right?
Right. Well, Brick and Bunny was all connected. So we didn't have the cases to travel, so we had to borrow their cases to put, to put the instruments and stuff in.
Wow.
Everything took off so fast.
Wow.
We had to make some money and what have you, and then we bought our own case.
Well, that was good timing, I guess, that they weren't touring at the moment, so you could borrow
Yes.
their gear.
In fact, really, they had just came off of a tour because they had a tune out called, I think it was
Dad?
Duzin or
Oh,
Daz,
Duzik,
yeah,
Duzik or Daz, yeah.
right.
Wow, that's some story. Wow.
Yeah.